Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning, good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And we're going to have so much fun today because we're going to be talking to someone about something that I think is catching on more and more. And actually, we've always had these types of businesses, and these are home service businesses. So people like landscapers, roofing people, people who do garage doors, all sorts of things like that. And what I love about our guest is he really works with these type of service providers to make sure that they are as successful as possible. So please join me in welcoming Tommy Mello to our program today. Welcome, Tommy.
Hey, welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Great. Well, let me tell people a little bit about you, and then we'll just dive right into this. And one of the things I want to say is it doesn't matter what type of business you have. All these tips that you have and information are absolutely fantastic. And so, no matter what you do, this is going to be a great program. So in 2010, Tommy Mello became the sole owner and operator of a single Phoenix-based garage door service business, which came with $50,000 in debt. Today, just 10 years later, A1 Garage generates more than $40 million in annual revenue with over 200 employees in several states. Tommy is on a quest to share his experience and knowledge with other entrepreneurs so that they can also become millionaires without having to sacrifice their lives in the process. To achieve that, Tommy has shared his entrepreneurial journey and best strategies on his Amazon best-selling book, Home Service Millionaire, and currently hosts a top 50 management podcast in the U.S. called Home Service Expert. Tommy also has contributed to top publications like Inc. magazine, Entrepreneur, Forbes, and other business publications on the topic of entrepreneurship and small business. When not in the office or working on the business, you'll find him on a plane, maybe not so much now, headed to exotic destinations or chasing that little white ball around one of Arizona's mini golf courses. So again, Tommy, welcome.
Hey, like I said, it's fun to do podcasting. I really enjoy it.
Right. We get to share our information with whoever wants it. And that's what's fun. And we get to talk to just the funnest, coolest people. That's what I really enjoy about it. So let's go back in time a bit and tell us a little bit more about your story and how you really discovered that this is your passion in life.
So my dad, when I was a kid, and I had a pretty good upbringing, when I do, I've been a keynote speaker many times, and I always paint a picture. There was two stories. Mm-hmm. One story was my dad cheated on my mom. They got a divorce. I was really worried about the bills at 4 years old. My grandma was around. She was kind of my babysitter. Mm-hmm. And I had an older sister, 6 years older. She's still around. Mm-hmm. And that story sounds so bad.
So pitiful.
Doesn't it sound like a victim? And then the other story is my dad was a role model for me, even though they got a divorce. My mom worked 3 jobs. She was a hustler. She was the best mom you could ever want. My grandma was the best cook in the world. So she was always around to cook for me. Ooh. And my sister she ended up being a little bit more on the hard side, which made her a good role model for me about kind of making my own life successful. So what I've learned about business was just basically pay your taxes is what my dad failed to do. But, overall, I would say that I love business. And so I started shoveling snow, mowing lawns like normal kid does. And when I was 12, I got a job washing dishes 1 year early before you're allowed to work. So I was paid under the table $4 an hour, which at the time, $4 an hour was pretty cool. And I started in the garage door business when I moved out to Arizona.
Mhm.
I was bartending, I was serving tables, I was doing whatever I could to make money. And yeah, I learned a lot about business. And now I'm a big reader. I do a lot of podcasting.
Mhm.
And I've got an amazing team. So I don't know if you know this, but your garage door
Mhm.
is 102% ROI if you buy a new one.
Mhm.
It's 40% of your curb appeal, and it's the smile of your home. So I
Right.
get excited about garage doors.
Mhm. Right. And I read your book, and I didn't ask. I had the digital version. Do you have a version? Can you show to us? Do you have
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right,
It's called
perfect. I love it. Got to have you do the Vanna thing. Um,
it's a hardcover. It's got 14 co-authors,
mhm.
and yeah, I put a lot. It took me 2 years to write it, so
Mhm. Cool.
it's pretty cool
Mhm.
because a lot of the people I had writing it are a lot smarter than me.
I love it. I don't know why my focus is coming and going. Maybe I'm just fuzzy today. But anyhow, one of the things that I loved in your book was the fact that garage doors, it's kind of like, okay, we all have them, right? Not everybody, but most people. And sometimes it's hard to get excited about that. And what I love that you talked about in your book was not that it's not really the garage door that excites you. It's providing that security for people to know that the biggest entry, as you put it, into their home is safe and secure. And that's what, and I love that concept, because sometimes I think we struggle with what is our why in what we're doing. And yours really is to help people know that they're safe and secure in their own homes.
Yeah, I came out with a feature. It's called Garage Door Armor, and I got a patent on it. It's
Ooh.
a design and a utility patent,
Mhm.
and it's, if you ever heard of the 6-second break, and it's a little shield that blocks that from happening. So,
Mhm.
there's several reasons why you would want to look at a new garage door. One of them is obviously safety.
Mhm.
One of them is just most people use their garage door like their front door. I
Right.
mean, they're going in
Right.
and out
We
of it.
do. Mhm.
So they want it to work. And then, the new technology, you could
Mhm.
actually open and close your garage door from your
Mhm.
phone now,
Mhm.
which is super cool. I don't know. And I think Amazon, they got a one-time entry. They could deliver Amazon Prime items
Mhm.
in your garage.
Right. Right. For
I think
safety and security. Yep. Mhm.
well, I think they're going to put a refrigerator soon in your garage, and they're going to deliver fresh food on a
Ooh.
daily basis. That's where I
Wow.
think they're going with it.
Mhm.
So I plan on being a big part of
Mhm.
that movement.
Right. Well, and it really is something that, one of those things that you don't think about it until there's a problem with it, which
Right.
is most things that a home service provider does, whether it's maintenance, plumbing, roofs, garage doors, things like that. And so, but it's something that when we as a consumer, as a homeowner we need it now. And we need to know that the work is going to be done well. And that's really a big part of how you started your business and how you really manage it is good quality. And it might cost a little bit more, but that's okay, because we're willing to pay for it because we know it's good quality and things like that. But you've learned a lot of lessons along the way.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it on your show, but I always put 3 fingers up and leave my middle finger up. I'm not going to. People want
Yeah,
it
my
done.
mom watches, so no.
They want it done right.
Mhm.
Customers want it done well
Mhm.
done. They
Mhm.
want it done on their schedule, so on
Mhm.
time, and they want it done for cheap.
Right.
And what I say is pick 2 out of the 3, because you're never
Mhm.
going to get all 3.
Mhm.
You're not going to find someone that's right there the same day,
Mhm.
that's the cheapest,
Mhm.
and that does the best quality work. So
Right.
I I think I'm the best value because
Mhm.
I carry better parts, but I think
Mhm.
it's important to really be on the right schedule and give a quality product with a good warranty
Mhm.
with good people.
Mhm.
That's another thing. You're inviting someone into your home,
Mhm.
and a lot of companies say this, but we do drug test background checks. But
Mhm.
more importantly, we spend a lot of time training. We
Mhm.
spend a lot of time. We hire people, like I always say, always be recruiting instead of always be closing.
Right. And you talked about
Maybe.
that in the book. I love this concept.
Well, you always got to recruit
Mhm.
amazing people. When I'm getting a haircut, I recruit the haircut
Mhm.
people. When I'm at a restaurant, I recruit the bus boys or
Mhm.
the servers. Always be looking out. I was at
Mhm.
Walgreens the other day, and I recruited one of the guys. He didn't come and interview yet, but hopefully he does.
Mhm.
It was amazing. He said, "You
Mhm.
wouldn't happen to be a loyal member of Walgreens?" And I said, no, I'm not actually. He said, well, if I get your phone number, I could give you a discount today.
Ooh.
And I was like, I pulled out a business card. I said, that was amazing. And I think you would work out perfectly. If you're ever looking for a career versus the job you have here, you should come see me. So I enjoy it. I enjoy being around amazing people all the time. I can tell you, most of my success is because I hire around all my weaknesses. It's not because I'm great. It's because I'm a dreamer. My dream became a vision, and I plan on being a $1 billion company within 4 years.
Right.
So.
And it's funny because people go doing garage doors. Well, you do have other things that you're doing, but still, it again, it comes back to everybody has them. We all have garage doors, and unfortunately, for as many people, we all have a lot of bad stories about them. That it didn't get fixed right, that you got trapped in the garage, all these various things, and so to have someone who does good quality work. That's, it's no wonder that you're in 12 states, and
14 now, actually.
Oh, cool. Oh, we need to update your bio. And so it is, it's interesting now because, as we were talking about this before the program started, we're, filming this, recording it during the pandemic. Things have obviously loosened back up quite a bit, but things are going to change moving forward. A lot of people are really rethinking what their careers, what their lives, what their lifestyles are going to be. And I'm guessing, that's purely a guess, purely anecdotal, that many people will decide that, being a home service provider might be what they want to be. And it's still a ton of work. I mean, that's, we don't ever want anybody to think that it's not, but, I think a lot of people are going to go, you know what? I really don't want to be in an office, or I don't want a home office and be in corporate America, all of those things. So are you finding that? Are you finding more interest?
Well, if you think about hotels, restaurants, movie theaters, those all closed down. So they were considered and deemed, and this is crazy, non-essential.
I know.
Well, home service is essential. So what we're seeing right now is I probably talk to about 5 private equity companies a week. Just to find out what's going on out there. And right now, home service is amazing. The average plumber now is 49 years old. And a lot of people, we talked about this before the recording, but they don't like millennials. It's because it's hard to manage a millennial.
Right.
Because baby boomers care. They want to make a paycheck and they want to get paid. They want raises. They want tenure. Whereas millennials, they want to feel important. They want to have a freedom of their schedule a little bit. And I really enjoy working with millennials. I'm right on that border of barely a millennial. I was born in 1983. And, I got 23-year-old call me last night at about 8:30. And he said, Tommy, you're going to love this story. And I was on the other line with my sister. And I said, hey, just make it quick. And he said, I was at this elderly people. They were in their late 80s. And he said, both of their cars were dead. So I jumped both the cars. I spent an hour and a half. I got them running well. And I put an opener in and they were so happy with me. And I said, I love that you called me with that story. That made my night. That made my weekend. Right. So, these people, as long as you care, you come with a smile and you listen. You see, a doctor, when they don't ask the right questions and do the right thing for the patient, it's called malpractice.
Right.
Well, for us, we got to listen to the customer, fulfill their needs, and go above and beyond. And that's what's important to me is I want to be a lifetime garage door company for my clients. Right. I don't want to be the wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and gone. So it's important, and you won't find anybody that's more passionate about home service than me. I'll tell you that.
I love it. And it is about providing that extra value. It's interesting. I do an online networking group that we started back in March when, we couldn't go anywhere and we were all going stir crazy. And so I just kind of started this online thing. And a couple of weeks ago, we talked about, we did add an educational component to it so that now you can feel justified in watching it during the middle of the day. But we talked about that go-giver philosophy of Bob Burgs. Yep. And how it's always about providing that extra value. But not being taken advantage of. I mean, that's always the key. But I love that story about, your tech didn't need to jump those cars. I mean, it took him probably an extra 15 minutes. And I know he kept his schedule in mind. It wasn't that he was throwing everything off for the rest of the day, all that. But, it was that little extra value. And so they might not remember that the garage door got fixed. They're going to remember that he jumped the cars, and especially when he certainly didn't have to. Now, if he kind of had to do it to be able to work on the garage, that might, but yeah, just providing that little extra level of caring is really what's so important.
The one thing I ask customers every time after I collect their money
Mm-hmm.
is, I don't want buyer's remorse. I want them to feel good about everything we did. So I say, listen, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need me for?
Right.
Could I help you take down the
Mhm.
Christmas tree if it's Christmas season?
Right.
Do you need help with anything in the home? And you should see, it's been quite a while since I've been in the field, several years, 2015, other than friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And what I
bet you
used
miss
to do
it.
though is, I mean, look, word of mouth is your best friend,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh, especially in something like this.
And you know what? It didn't take much. I've got guys, and I teach a lot about sales, because sales for me is, I always say, sales is not a bad word.
Right.
Listen, me and you right now, we're selling each other.
Mhm.
When you get
Definitely.
married, you're selling your husband or your wife.
Mhm.
When you make friends, you're selling. One of my favorite books is, I got a lot of them right there, is How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it's so important to go above and beyond and be genuine and passionate.
Right.
And enjoy it, and then smile. I tell my guys, I practice smiling in the mirror. I'm not very good at it still, but that when you smile to customers, it means a lot.
Right.
And when you smile when you walk in a gas station or a restaurant, people are like, wow, this is a good person. And I'm from Michigan, so I think the Midwest is the best.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Much more friendly and things like that. And it really is about, as you said, spending that little extra bit of time. And here in Atlanta, we've got, we have our HVAC guy, and we have a contract with them. They come every quarter and update things and, clean stuff and all of that. Could we do it ourselves? Sure. But it's better to just not worry about it. And we have a bug guy. I'm from Colorado. To have a bug guy really was a totally bizarre concept, because we didn't have bugs in Colorado. But we've got this bug guy who comes every quarter, and both of them, the same people, we have the same service people we have had for years. And I love that, because first of all, it shows that it's a good company that they work for, that they are able to keep employees for years. It means they treat them well, they pay them well, all these various things. They that they're very passionate about their companies. But more importantly, they do kind of take that little bit of time to chit chat. I was diagnosed with cancer 5 years ago. And so at various points in time when they have come to service, I haven't been, the most cheerful, the most, there we are, as bald as, as cue ball there for a while. But they always still ask how I'm doing. And just those extra little things really make me know that, they're good guys, good company. And as you said, somebody I would refer my friends to, whether I'm going to do a post on Yelp or, post on Facebook or just tell the neighbors next door, it's that extra little bit that makes me know, okay, I will refer to them.
Yeah. It's hard. I could teach somebody to do everything, but I can't teach them to care.
Right.
And that's what I look for when I interview people, is I try to pull that out of them. And I always used to think I was in the lead gen business. I need to get leads. And now I've completely, in the last year, I've taken a 180 and I say, I'm in the people business about recruiting amazing technicians, CSRs, which are the people that answer the phone, and dispatchers. Those are my triangle of communication there. And great people get referrals. They go out and they try. Okay, this is interesting. Can I tell you a little math equation real quick?
Sure.
So you've got two people answering the phone,
Mhm.
A and B. A books the call 90% of the time.
Mhm.
B books it 60% of the time, which in the home service industry, the average is 42%.
So they're
So
both doing really well.
they're both good. So 90%, 60%. They both take 20 opportunities a day.
Mhm.
And the average ticket is $500 and they work 300 days out of the year.
Mm.
CSRA made you $1 million more for the year. One person made $1 million more than B.
Right.
And when you think about that, it's so important.
Mhm.
The average mishire costs on average over $70,000.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's not all about money, but people that say money doesn't matter,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but go pay your mortgage with
Right.
love.
Yeah. And tell them I'm sorry. You know, here's
Yeah, here's some love.
Mhm.
Here's
Yeah.
some kindness.
Mhm. You're such a
Money
good
doesn't matter.
bank.
Money is a big deal, and I'm not trying to be a snob about it. I was going to swear, but this is a family show. You know, at the end of the day, money is very important because I want to do what I want to do
Right.
with who I want to do it with
Mhm.
whenever I want. And money does not buy happiness, but money pays for mortgages.
Mhm.
It allows me freedom to go see my sister and my two nephews and my niece.
Mhm.
It allows me to do things. So I'm kind of doing a shift here, but money is important.
Mhm.
And I just think it's a big misconception that money's bad. Money's the root of all evil.
Right.
Money could be very bad for family situations and marriages. But if you respect it, see, I came from not a lot. I didn't come from money by any means. I didn't come from I didn't wear the same shirt every day or anything. I mean, my parents had enough money to clothe me and such. But I find it funny that when people say money is bad, I ask them, do you have any?
Right.
And they always say no.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I don't know where I went with that, but I'm reading this book, and it was yesterday I read this book, and it was all about the mindset, the paradigm shift to understand. I'm still very conservative with my money, and I'm happy to say, you know, this year we're going to come close to 50 million, which is still this much in what I want to be. But you know what I started bragging about is I've got money in the bank now. I used to
Right.
brag about revenue.
Mhm.
Now I brag about profit.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with the company. I'm a
Right.
for-profit business.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, are you a for-profit?
I am, you know, and I tell people even nonprofits have to make money or they're
Oh, they
not
do.
going to function. Yeah. You know, my guest earlier this week works for a nonprofit and has for many years. And we talked about the fact that it doesn't mean no profit. You know, it just means they spend it differently. But yeah, you know, it's always fascinating when I talk with people who, you know, they get this Pollyanna vision that, you know, they're going to start a business and they're going to do what they love and it's going to be hearts and it's going to be flowers.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, and then they get into it and they discover that they have to invoice. They have to fire clients. They have to fire employees. You know, they have to
learn
do
accounting. They have to learn
right. I
financing.
know.
They have
Ew,
to learn
accounting.
leadership and culture.
Right.
And then they're victims. A lot of people. Listen,
Right.
I call it creative justification.
Mhm.
They justify everything. And poor me,
Right.
I've been trying so hard. You know what trying is? Working every weekend. It's losing relationships.
Right.
It's literally the strongest willpower you'll ever see. And people say, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, but you're not willing to work weekends. You don't want to, you want to watch football. You want to watch sports. You want to make sure to go in your bowling league. See, the sacrifices are what create success. And if you're willing to do that long enough, study why they sleep. Work when they stay at home. And what you'll do is you'll find success. And success is not all about work and money. Success means a lot of things. Emotionally, it means relationships. It means mental health. It means working out and fitness. But I think money and success. I don't know what I like more, my team or my success, because they're part of the same thing.
Right. If you didn't have a good team, you wouldn't be successful.
You know,
because you're successful, you have a good team.
The first day I knew I was successful, and I always tell this story because I love it. I was in Hawaii. I was gone for 2 weeks. We set a record while I was out of town.
Perfect.
And the bill came, and I had the most expensive. There's a scary word called market price. And I started ordering that when I knew I was successful. But here's what happened. The bill came. I stuck my credit card in the check presenter without looking at the bill. And that's the moment
Right.
that I realized, because before I ate chicken, if there was anything on the menu,
Yeah.
you know, chicken is the most
Mhm.
affordable.
Yeah. You wanted lobster. You wanted whatever. Mhm.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? When in Rome, right? So I did that. And I got to say, is you treat people like you want to be treated.
Mhm.
And it's amazing. You know, we're building leaders here. And I said I want to do $1 billion. Well, that usually when people say that, it's a fart in the wind.
Right.
You know, they say, oh, $1 billion. I said, you know what I need? I need 2,186 technicians. I need a little over 1,000 installers. And I know exactly how many leads I need to get. And I know how to do that in less than 5 years. And I know how many. I started with a vision. It was a dream, a vision. And then I narrowed it down from what I need to do year, quarter, month, week, day. And now I know what I need to do today and tomorrow. And that's the difference. Is I always tell people, you got a good goal, but how are you going to reach it? Show me what
you got to have those numbers.
Oh, KPIs, key performance indicators, are what drive my life. And I've got journals of, if you want to lose weight, you start counting calories and managing what you're eating.
You don't just go, I want to lose weight.
That's what people do. They say, I want to be rich. I want to lose weight. I want to have a better connection with God. I want to have a better marriage. But they don't track anything. You can't fix it if you're not tracking it.
Right. Yeah. How do you know you're successful if you didn't know how to get there in between?
How do you know if you're improving? Because all I'm trying to do is, I will not be 100% successful. I know that. But I know I can be better than yesterday.
Right.
And success is all determined in the eye of the beholder. But ultimately, I just feel like if I could improve upon yesterday, it's consistency, accountability, discipline, willpower. And then there's a good book, if anybody gets a chance, the 5 a.m. Club. And I didn't get up at 5 a.m. today, so. But it talks about start the day off right. Make your bed. Little things. And, you know, I was the first one out of bed, so I didn't make the bed. Hopefully she did.
Yeah, you didn't want to make it over top of her. Yep. Well, and you know, it's doing those things that you have to do, you know, and then doing them consistently. I mean, you know, that's the other thing. I mean, so many people, they do a little of this and a little of that. And, you know, and in your book, you talk about steps and processes and things that everybody needs to take. And, you know, I have a marketing company. So what I see are people who go, well, let's try Facebook for a while.
Oh yeah.
And if it doesn't work, you know, in the first 6 days, you know, then don't want to do that. And then they said, well, let's try this TikTok thing. You know, and they go, you know, and it's like, no, you know, you need to, it comes back to exactly what you were saying before. You have to have your goals, and then you figure out how you're going to attain those. So it's not that you're using Facebook or that you're using TikTok or that you're doing billboard advertising. It's that you're doing marketing and you're doing advertising. Then, and how much you're going to spend on it. Then you go from there. You know, I always love it when I ask people, you know, who is your target market? And they smile sweetly at me and they say, everyone. No. Nothing. I don't care what you do. Your target market is not everyone. You know, and until people get that in mind, that's one of the first things that we ask them to do is you have to figure out who you're trying to reach. You know, and then you're only talking to that person. You know, yeah, you might do business with somebody on the you know, but you have to figure those out. You know, I've shared this story several times where I was at a networking group and this woman sold skincare products. And we said, who's your target market? And she said, well, everyone, because of course we all do have skin. But hers were products to fight acne. You know, that was just what it was. And when she said everyone, not a single one of us could think of anybody who needed her product. I mean, it was just the weirdest thing in the world. So we worked with her and she, you know, brought it down. And of course the fear was that she was going to make her audience too small. Well, you know, then you deal with that. But so she got it down to 16-year-old boys who had acne. Every single person could think of somebody who knew or had a 16-year-old boy with acne. So then she could ask for referrals. Then she could do all of those things. But yeah, when you said, hey, everyone, we all went, ooh. You know, and so, you know, it's, and then she messaged to only, yeah, and actually she messaged to the parents of 16-year-old boys. But, you know, that was the whole concept, was figuring out who she needed to reach. But that was part of the goal, you know, figuring, you know, all of those various things. And I think so many business owners, especially when they're brand new, don't stop to go through these processes. And that's really one of the things that I liked about your book, is it broke it down to, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And especially when we've all gone, ooh, let's start a business today.
That happens all the time.
Right.
And they're
right,
underfunded. You know. That's the biggest problem, is underfunding.
Mm-hmm,
You got to have, okay, when you start a business, first you got to write down and start an organizational chart.
Right.
Okay. And understand the people you're going to hire become the company you want to become.
Right.
And then you need to define every one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, this is, if anybody gets a chance to take a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, and you write down how much money you want to make.
Mm-hmm.
Then you figure out what your profit is,
Mm-hmm.
margin. But this is important. So you say, what's your average ticket?
Mm-hmm.
You go down from your average ticket and you say, what's my conversion rate when I speak to the person
Mm-hmm.
face to face?
Right.
Then you look at your call booking rate,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look at your cost to acquire a customer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you divide these into each other, you're going to come up with a ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And you will understand exactly how much money you need to spend in marketing if you got those numbers. But my goal when I do this with people is they're not tracking their booking rate. They're not tracking their conversion rate face to face. They're not tracking their average ticket. They're not acknowledging the cost to acquire a customer. Because every one of those we could fix. And when you fix all of them by 2%, you actually double your revenue.
Wow.
It's nuts. And I always say you got to inspect what you expect. And I've got checks and balances for everything. And I can look into my CRM, my customer relationship management system, and it spits out these numbers, and they're exact. I've got a data integrity team to make sure the numbers are accurate. And it's amazing what I can do to fix problems when I know what's going on. Right. And most people they're driving the bus, the lights are on, but nobody's home. Right. And it's so fun when you start to learn how to run a business. I used to hate my financials. I used to not know what was in the bank. And now we have a financial quick check meeting every Friday. Ellen Rohr talks about it in my book. She is amazing. She flew out, charged me a lot of money, but she taught me a lot. And what I've always done is hire consultants that are much better than me at every aspect and take everything they've got. The biggest thing we have as humans is being social. Right. And we can network. And if you do that well, you'll be very, very successful. It's amazing how rich people, and they're rich in life too, but if they lose money, they get it back the same year. Right. And then people hit the lottery and they go broke within a year. Everybody that wins the lottery for the most part goes broke. Right. Because their mental capacity is not ready for the money.
Right. You know, and the same thing happens with, say, sports people who, you know, maybe you pay that football player $14 million. And, you know, and part of it is they don't know how to manage it. And then, you know, they
didn't make it. They were a Hollywood movie star. You're right.
Right. You know, and it does come back to, it is about the money. You know, and you know, anybody who thinks that they're going into business to just be hearts and flowers and roses, you know, go volunteer somewhere and do that there. You know, now, as we said, there's going to be a lot of stuff in your business that you don't like to do. You know, I don't like to invoice. I'm having to do client reports today because it's the start of a month. Obviously, you still have to do them. You know, and of course, one of the things that you talk about in your book is to delegate. You know, and of course, that's one of the, I have a producer for this podcast who does the things that I could do, but she's really good at it. And it frees me up to be doing other things. You know, and so that's why, you know, that's why it's good to have whether it's a consultant, whether it's an employee, a virtual assistant, all those various things. As soon as you can start delegating, delegate. And that even includes, somebody doing your taxes. I mean, all of those various
Or
things.
your dishes.
Right. Yeah. If you aren't the best at mowing your lawn, fine, hire somebody to come and do that. But yeah, you can delegate so many things. And some of them are things, you might have kids at home now, they can't go to school. Well, they can do the dishes, all these various things. And it frees you up to be doing the things that you want to be doing. And some of it might be business. Some of it might be that it frees you up to go play golf. But it's okay to delegate. And, I've seen so many small business owners, especially when they're just starting out, who think they have to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, they're going to be criticized, all these various things. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to try and operate on myself. So I'm going to hire a doctor to do it. So why wouldn't I hire a tax attorney or, a trademark attorney? We just went through that whole process. Could I have done that myself? Sure. But it would have wasted a heck of a lot of time. And, it would have cost me far more in the long run than to do it myself than to hire the expert to do it.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of people say if I don't do it, it won't get done right. It's the best book of all time.
Oh, yeah, that's me. My way is the only way to do it.
Well, they're not going to do as good a job as me, and I'm better. I'm a faster typer. I'm better at the internet,
right.
Whatever that looks like. I don't even open my own mail. In fact, I don't even open my own email. I have the best assistant in the world. The best book in the world is called The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And he actually came into my office and I interviewed him on my podcast. He was here and he said, why aren't there more people here? And I said, we're in between training classes. There's 70 people here. It's not a little, it's funny because I love the guy, but he said, hey, give me a warm cup of water. I brought it back. It wasn't warm enough. And he wanted a lemon. Guess how much he drank of that warm water and the lemon?
A sip.
None. But you're absolutely right. When I delegate, someone taught me this tip a long time ago is do what you're good at. And if you enjoy doing it, then do it. Like I don't have kids yet, but I want to have kids. And if I have a son, I'm going to teach him how to mow the lawn, even though I don't need to mow the lawn.
Right.
I think I'd like to do that just to teach him what hard work is all about and just take care of chores. And I'm your dad. I'll fix the garbage disposal. But overall, I delegate. If you divide what the profit I make by the hours I work, it's well into the thousands an hour. And I'm not bragging about that, but if I could delegate anything for less than that, I will delegate it.
Right.
And I've become a master delegator, and delegation is not dumping. There's a difference. It's exact. I got an 8-step process. I write it down. I make them sign off that they acknowledge it. They got to repeat it back to me. They understand we're going to meet intermittently on this to make sure you're not doing it last minute. And all these things, when they got to sign their name, the little John Hancock, or as I like to say, Herbie Hancock, it's from a movie. But John Hancock, when they got to sign off on it, they understand it. They accept it. It's accountability.
Right.
And it's amazing the results you'll get when you learn how to delegate.
Right. And then, of course, the other important thing of that is that as they learn the process, they need to be able to make changes and know that they can make changes as long as they're not screwing something up, because they might look at it and go, well, wait a minute. You said that we have to do A, B, C. I can make this work better if we do E, F, H. Where'd G go? I lost G in there somewhere. But you might not even need G. That's it. And that's the whole thing with empowering employees. And again, whether it's an employee, a consultant, your child, whoever it is, they need to know that they can make those changes. And of course, that's one of the best things about customer service. If you've got somebody on the phone, if you're dealing with somebody, the second they tell, if I'm in this, and if the second somebody tells me, I have to ask my manager. I hate that. Now there are certainly things that you have to get permission on. I mean, and things like that, but there's obviously different ways that you can say it as opposed to, I have to ask my manager, but yeah, I mean, that's one of the worst things in the world. And employees aren't happy when they have to do that. Even though there's certain processes and things like that. I'm here in the South and in Atlanta, and of course, which is the home of Chick-fil-A. And their customer service is phenomenal. And one of the things that they can do is they actually have the power to do all sorts of different things that people don't know about. Do you know that you can go through and ask for one chicken nugget? And it costs like a quarter, something like that. I mean, and most people don't stop to think about that, but it's like, wow, I really could get just one chicken nugget. And so it's always fun to go and order one chicken nugget. But, they have the ability as the employee to be able to say, you know what, we're going to sell you one chicken nugget. Now they might upsell you and say, are you sure you don't want 5? But, or whatever's on the menu. But if you just want one chicken nugget, the key is they don't want to lose that business. And I think that's what so many people think is, well, if I don't let my employees have the freedom to kind of make some of these decisions, we could lose the business totally. Might mean that we don't make as much on that, on that chicken nugget or whatever it is. But if the employee has the ability to do that, then the customer is happy.
The biggest mistake I see in the home service space is not having a price book. So you got to have exact pricing like Chick-fil-A has, but you could always, just like Walmart, you can get discounts. And when I used to bartend, the best employer I've ever worked for said, you're allowed to comp whatever you want as long as it's in the system. It's called a POS. It's a point of sale. So as long as it's in the system, and there was a day that I gave away $140 worth of drinks. And you know what he said the next day? He comes in, everybody sits down and he says, Tommy Mello is the most amazing bartender here. And here's why. He rung in everything. He was honest. And he's got the highest register I've ever seen.
Yep.
And I bought only well drinks. I didn't use top shelf ingredients.
Right.
And you said a key phrase there that's called empowerment. And it's great to empower your employees. I was on this show. It's the name of it. It's American. It just came out too, and they were in here in the office shooting it. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it. But they said we've interviewed KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and do you know that KFC opens a new store every 8 hours?
Oh, wow!
So to open a new store every 8 hours, as I started to take that apart in my mind, and I said, everything needs to be on a checklist, a standard operating procedure, an expected result. If you ever watched the McDonald's movie, Kroc,
is it Kroc?
Ray Kroc did it, but he figured out that he needed a process with an expected result.
Right.
They chalkboarded it out on a tennis court, and they figured out exactly how to make things with an expected result every time. And, McDonald's has a code you have to press every hour to wash your hands. They know that every single person washes their hands every single hour. And those are processes they've created to make it scalable.
Right.
And so in any business, home service, whether you're making pies, whether you're a florist, you got to make it so that you get to repeatable and you get an expected result.
Right.
And I know that went a little off from your empowerment, but I just think it's pretty cool that you can scale a business every 8 hours.
Right. And one of the key things you mentioned is checklists, and you talk about that in the book, because it does make things to where you do to here, to here, to here, to here, to here. Because if you don't, and in your book, you also talk about manuals, and all of these things, because employees, they need that guidance. Yeah. They need to know, okay, we do this, then we do this, then we do this, then we do this. And, there are times where they might deviate from it, but the important things are there. And even if they do it 200, 300, 500 times, you still have those checklists, because, you get somebody sidetracked and they forget something important, and it's on that checklist. Oh yeah, I need to remember to do X. And so I love checklists because it really does, that gives the guidance. And then, I'll bring it back to empowerment. That's where employees can say, hey, we need to add this, we need to change this, these things need to be in different order, especially if you're not doing it any longer, because they're the ones that are out there getting their hands dirty, literally, and they know what's going on, and so they can say, we need to do this a little bit differently. And sometimes it may just vary between, maybe who you're working with. If are they home and are going to come out and chit chat with you, then that might change things a little bit. It's interesting. My neighbors just got a pool put in, a real underground pool, and which we have a lot of here in Atlanta. But of course, it's a booming business now, because people are home so much more. And it was interesting because I'd be nosy neighbor. I'd go over and I'd look, and you could tell that they really didn't like us watching them. To me, it was just a fascinating process. I mean, that was the coolest thing in the world to watch that whole, it took several months, but all those things. But us watching potentially could slow something down because we'd ask a question or we get in the way or whatever. And so your employees have to know how to deal with things like that.
Yeah.
That really went off on a tangent. Holy schmoly.
No. It's good because you brought up an important thing. Is I had a guy come through here. His name's Al Levy. He actually wrote a chapter in my book about manuals. Mm-hmm. And it's not fair to not have a manual for an employee because the manual teaches people how to win the game. The KPIs on my dashboard are the score. Mm-hmm. But in gym class in 7th and 8th grade, Mr. Dolinar used to sit us down on Fridays. We'd go to gym class 5 days out of the week. The 5th day, which was Friday, he'd sit us down and we learned how to play basketball, football. I learned what a center was. I learned what a guard and a tackle. Mm-hmm. I learned the positions. I learned how to play the game. The manual is a simple form of 80%, the 80-20 rule. 80% of this is how you win. Mm-hmm. Every one of my employees are on performance pay. Right. They get to win. There's no tenure here. They don't sit down every year and they get a raise because they've been here a year. Everybody has a fair chance to win the game. Mm-hmm. I have CSRs. The way I pay them is minimum wage or the performance pay. Mm-hmm. And I have a CSR that made $36 an hour last week. And it's easy to hire when you can pay people what they're worth. Right. And they're worth amazing if they have skin in the game. Mm-hmm. So now when someone makes a lot of money, when I found out that gal made $36 an hour, I jumped up and rejoiced and I said, boom, high five, you killed it.
And what can we learn from you?
And the owner got excited. He's paying a lot of money. And that's something that's very, very special that not a lot of people can say. Is most of the time people make a lot of money, they go, how do they, that stinks.
We don't want to be paying them that much.
Why do they make so much money? Now when people make a lot of money for me, I remember the day, and this was 2 offices ago, is I got really upset that this person made. And I said, what? Because they've been here that long? Like they didn't earn it. And so I decided to change the game. And it's so fun when everybody gets to win. And everybody, when we all get to win, and we've got nice things here. We've got Big Buck Hunter. We've got Golden Tee. We've got pinball machines. We've got basketball. We've got a full gym. We've got coffee machines, tea machines. It's because everybody wins all the time. And I surround myself with these amazing winners. And you can't help but smile and laugh and just say, God's blessed me very, very well to be around these amazing people. And I'm very fortunate. And this is a garage door company. Right. We're not talking about a bank or anything. So I don't need to overcharge or rip people off, but we are trying to build a successful company where I'm going to have 10,000 employees not long from here. It's happening so fast. And you're right. We're deemed essential. And I would advise anybody, look, we're growing so fast. I've got this cool website. It's called work4a1.com. If you know anybody looking for an amazing career, if there's 3 or more people in a city that I can depend on, I'll branch out to those cities. Cool. So Atlanta was a toughie because Atlanta is a big, big city. There's a lot of traffic. Right. Atlanta is full of construction.
Oh, traffic here is just blah. I've been here 8 years. It's like, no.
Why'd you move to Atlanta, by the way?
My husband got transferred here. The company that he worked for closed its Denver office and basically said, you can move or lose your job. And we went, all righty then. And it was actually, he's one of those people who's been with the same employer since he got out of college. One of those rare people who, and so, I mean, there were a lot of factors that went into it. But yeah, I mean, it was very interesting. And, we didn't have anything that kept us in Denver. And so it was just, it was a big adventure, and that was what was good.
Yeah. Atlanta, I've learned. So I'll tell you this, when you talk about marketing, you said you have a marketing company.
Mm-hmm.
In the home service space, Google is
Mm-hmm.
God.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my tip of the day is, build a website, build it amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and invest in the website, which means
Yes.
link building,
Mm-hmm.
because Google takes time. Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
I can do Facebook ads tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Anything paid, pay-per-click on Google. There's local service ads on Google. There's 4 algorithms that Google runs for home service.
Mm-hmm.
There's pay-per-click.
Mm-hmm.
There's local service ads, which is the Google Guarantee Program. There's a Google My Business, and then there's the
Mm-hmm.
organic search. And I dive into all of those.
Right.
I'm obsessed with marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that not a lot of people understand its worth. They don't understand how Google works.
Right.
They don't understand that Google's just a big algorithm
Mm-hmm.
that takes results and organically puts the best one first. The ones that are light yellow now, they're super light. Those are paid for. They
Right.
say add really small.
Yeah, in tiny little bit, kind of like sponsored in Facebook. Mm-hmm.
It's just annoying that, do you know how much money? We're all puppets
Mm-hmm.
in the game of Facebook, of
Mhm.
TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
Of all these things. There's a good show, a movie I watched about how they understand everything. You wonder why these ads pop up. They know you.
Mm-hmm.
They know.
Oh, yeah.
5 years ago, they knew that you had cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and they were probably serving up cancer vitamins.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous. They profited off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
they didn't mean for this to happen, but they became monsters.
Right.
And I hate to say it, but Amazon, all these places,
Mhm.
they're just doing their job. Every
Right.
single, it's not
Yeah.
one
I
person.
mean, they're suggesting similar products, because that makes sense. You might be annoyed at it, but if you liked this,
you
you're
buy
probably
it.
going to like this. Mm-hmm.
Similarities and they call it audiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What they do is they find lookalike audiences
Mm-hmm.
of your perfect avatar. You said 16-year-old boys with acne. They will find 16-year-olds with acne. They'll know that they have acne. They're actually, now they can do facial recognition and recognize
Right.
if you have acne.
Oh, yeah. Now, masks are screwing with that a bit, but
Yeah, that's true. And
Mhm.
now these women want to look like their masks.
Mm-hmm. Which that's weird. I mean, when I've seen people whose I'm like, oh no, that's just put flowers on it, or yeah. I mean, now I do have a mask wardrobe now, because I mean I have to wear masks a lot. I'm immune compromised, and so I have to wear masks. I will wear masks until my oncologist says you don't have to wear a mask. And so I have my standard blue ones, but then I have my wardrobe ones. But yeah, I mean, and that's kind of one of those things. Look at the market. I mean, all of a sudden, 6 months ago, who would have thought that masks would be a market? Which is very entertaining. Which is kind of you have to always be watching these trends. We were talking at the start about how a lot of people all of a sudden are going, well, maybe I don't want to work for corporate America anymore. I want to go into my own business, and whether it's home service or home based or whatever. But one of the things that I really wanted to hit upon was exactly what you said. We have to have a website. How many business, especially home service businesses, think, I don't need a website. I'm just a
I don't know
plumber.
who those
I'm just
people
that.
are.
Yeah.
Because-
You have to have some presence, because people are going to look it up. And if I don't find something, then to me, you're not a real business.
What I would ask you, what I would ask if I was to fix your garage door,
Mhm.
check this out.
Mhm.
I would ask you before I leave,
Mhm.
and I'd smile, and I'd
Mhm.
say, did you receive 5 out of 5 service? And I mentioned that 10 times during the service.
Right.
And Deb, I'm going to ask you,
Mhm.
not only for a Google review,
Mhm.
but I'm going to ask you for a Google, a Yelp,
Mhm.
a Facebook,
Yep.
a Nextdoor,
Mhm.
and a Better Business Bureau
Mhm.
before I leave. And that's going to take you some time. So for doing that for me, for taking the time, not to give me a 5-star, this is very different. I'm asking you because I want you to take the time, and your time is worth money.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that because you're a busy lady.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'd appreciate if you go do this for me, what I'm willing to do for you. And we'd have a give and take, and I'm going to
Right.
hook you up with a free search
Mm-hmm.
protector and some other things
Mm-hmm.
for your time. Now, I'm not going to try to coerce you to leave me a
Right.
5-star by
Right,
bribe.
because that's against the terms of all of these things.
It is. And that's not what I prescribe to anybody. But if you did receive great service with it, if it's me and I showed up on time and I'm smiling and I know I did a great job, I'm going to ask you to leave a lot of reviews, not just one.
Right.
And I'm going to get you to do it before I leave. You're going to do it
Because
for
I'll
me.
forget otherwise, or I'll get busy.
Yeah. And you know, I'm asking you for Tommy Mello, not for A1 Garage Door Service, not for my company. So the difference is I've been to a lot of great restaurants, but when the person goes out of their way and my cup's always full. If it's lemonade, it's always to the top. They do an amazing job. If they ask me and they say, listen, we're in this contest right now, and I don't know if you have the time to do this, but if the boss is going to take us out to dinner,
right?
If we're into the number one, and my name's Amy, and if you leave me a review and mention my name, would you mind doing me a favor and doing that before you leave? I'll do it, especially if I got great service. So that's my tip is online reputation is so important, especially in service. And we do get bad reviews because I'll tell you what,
but you learn from them.
Well, you know, a lot of the times we make mistakes, whether it's because a guy took too long at the previous jobs or possibly an oil leak of some sort. But there's some customers, and I always say there's 1%. And we service 6,700 jobs a month on average. 6,700. That's almost 7,000 jobs a month. Some people are not going to be happy all the time. Right. And it's impossible. These people, Deb, I'm telling you this. If JC, the Lord, showed up at their doorstep, they still would be upset. They'd say, why did
you interrupted dinner?
Yeah, exactly. So you get it.
Right. Well, and you know, what I always tell my clients is we get bad reviews. We deal with them. The absolute worst thing in the world, there's two things. People, you know, oh, we can delete it. Well, no, that doesn't work because, you know, the review sites want to show unbiased, which means the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, but I tell them we have to respond. You know, even if it is just to say, we are so sorry that happened. Because people want acknowledgement.
Or I've tried to reach out to you, Deb, several times. Right. Realize we made a mistake. Please call us back. So what a lot of customers do and clients is they'll look at the bad reviews of how you responded to the review.
Right. I know that's all that I tell people, you know, the person who wrote the bad review almost never goes back to it. They were mad, they vented, they're done. It's for the people who read it in the future. And so we put a phone number in there, you know, please call us at. Do they? No. But you gave them that opportunity, you know, and that really is. And when I read bad reviews, I'm doing the exact same thing that you are. I'm looking to see how they responded, even if it's not right. I mean, I remember one time I was looking on TripAdvisor for a hotel, and it was so funny because somebody had written that it was a horrible hotel. When the bar next door got out, it was noisy, yada 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 yada. Now, that hotel was completely surrounded by car dealerships. It was very weird. So there were no bars anywhere near. So clearly this person had the wrong hotel. And, you know, the hotel could have easily ignored that. You know, that's not the right place. Or they could have, well, you don't have the right place or anything like that. They took it as kind of a joke and responded and said, we're terribly sorry you had that experience. But it must have been another hotel but you know, and so they did respond to it. And I went, oh, okay. You know, they still took the time without being snarky, without, you know, all those various things. And I love that. I thought that was great.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a million places now and it's kind of crazy because it used to be just yellow book ads. And the guy that had the double truck and was tenured into that owned all the business. Yep. Now, it's amazing what the marketplace has done because now the consumer has more power than ever. Right. And sometimes people abuse that power, just like businesses abuse their power. And that's how unions were born. But ultimately, do the right thing for clients. And then I've got a full-time person. That's all he does. And a lot of times there's checks all over my desk of they didn't want the $20 service charge that we charge to come out there. They don't think it's fair. So I give it back to them and I try to make it right. I'm not there's certain things, certain moral high grounds I take that I'm just not going to bribe customers
Right.
to give them their money back. But if they don't have a good experience, I'm more than willing to meet them. And, the newspaper, Arizona Republic, did an article about me because the customer called afterwards. I delivered flowers to a lady because I was so apologetic. This was 2013.
Yep. You talked about this in the book. I love this story.
Yeah. Well, I just said, man, this lady has a really good point, and I felt so bad. So I bought flowers. I went there and I said, listen, I'm going to fix it myself. I'm here to make the day better. It was another technician who doesn't work here anymore. And, but it was important to me because this is the lifeblood of your company, your clientele, my perfect avatar. So I've narrowed down my avatar and who they are. And I want to be where they're at. I want to be in front of them. And it's, you nailed it from the beginning, is define who that person is. Of course, anybody with a garage door is my client.
Right.
But would I rather have somebody that wants a luxury garage door, or do I want to be a jack of all trades and do the wham bam contractor doors?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a specialist. See, there's a jack of all trades, and then there's a specialist. I'd rather be. I was pre-dental. I didn't go to dental school, but I went and interned with a dentist, and he said, if you're going to go into dental, number one, I'd advise you get a business degree. So that's what I did. And he also said, specialize, be a specialist. Don't be a general practitioner. Specialize in what you do. And anybody listening right now, I would say, become a specialist. Narrow that gap and find the perfect people that you love to work with and be the best in it. Don't be this. Don't be, I work on skin. I work on 16-year-old boys.
Yeah. You know, and that's that's perfect way to end this, because I think that's what we all need to do. You know, we need to focus our efforts, figure out what we're doing. You know, as I mentioned, your book walks people through processes. Some of them aren't going to apply depending on what your business is, but most of them you need to at least be thinking about. You know, I've been in business over 20 years, and it wasn't until recently that I thought, oh, I really should have Google, you know, my Google business page. Because when somebody searched, I wanted to be that panel that came up, you know, and
Huge.
right. Yeah. You know, and so, you know, all these various things. Hello, I'm a marketing person. You think I would have known that, and I do it for all my clients. You know, it's kind of the, you know, cobbler, our kids, you know, cobbler's kids never have shoes. But, you know, so all of these things we need to be thinking about, no matter what our business is, no matter how long we've been in business. You know, that's the great thing is you can look at these things and go, oh, yeah, I should be doing that, or I used to do that and I don't. Why not? You know, why did we stop doing that? So with that, how do people find you online?
So I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, Tommy Mello. You go to TommyMello.com or Home Service Expert if you want to hear the podcast, or if you want to get the book, I've got it. Go to homeservicemillionaire.com/free. It's $9 shipping and handling. That's how much it costs me. I'm not making a profit on it, but the insights in here are from much smarter people. They teach you how to figure out your finances, how to sell a business, all that good stuff. And I wanted to leave you with one thing here. You know, Warren Buffett's a really smart person, Berkshire Hathaway. And his best tip is to learn to say no. And that's what I've been really practicing the last 5 years. And that's been a lot of my success. I can make millions of dollars in 8 different ways. And I'm obviously ADHD, but I've learned to channel that focus on one thing. And one day this guy told me, one of my mentors, I said, I want to put my eggs in a lot of baskets because what if one falls? And he said, Tommy, if you take the time to put all your eggs in one basket, it'll overflow. It'll fill up so fast and it'll bring you genuine happiness. So if you guys get a chance, I'd love it. You can listen to the podcast. Like I said, I had Michael Gerber, lots of smart people on my podcast. And the book is cool. I took a lot of time to do it.
It was a great book.
I really appreciate the time that you took to just share your morning. Actually, wait a minute.
No, it's afternoon.
It's afternoon now for you. Yeah.
We're 3 hours difference, aren't we?
Yeah. So I'm at 10:12 right now.
Yep. Well, Tommy, this really has been great. We definitely have to do it again because I think, you know, obviously what you say resounds with many people. So it's great to touch base to see, new things and find out what's going on. So, hope to have you on again. Again, the best place is homeserviceexpert.com. I found all the information there that I needed. And I'm Deb Creer. I've been having a wonderful time talking with Tommy Mello. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.